Hello and welcome to our Ontario Network of CAPC and CPNP Projects online conference. I'm delighted to welcome you to our first session today on day one. And with us is Tina Crouse, and she is going to talk about working with AI. Her session is called AI Curious to AI Confident for Nonprofits. Tina is an ethics and strategy, an AI ethics and strategy specialist, responsible AI practitioner, and a management consultant for over 20 years. She's been working in the nonprofit sector, and I'm really excited to hear what she has to offer. And I'm going to pass things over to you, Tina. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Sydney. Thanks very much for having me. And thank you, everyone, for um, wanting to hear about this with the conference. I'm in Ottawa, which is Anishinaabe Algonquin territory, and I thank them for being the stewards of the land here while we're working past and into the future. I'm very pleased that people would be interested in talking about AI, particularly as social workers, the focus is always on people. So what could AI possibly provide for you and for your clients? Hopefully, by the end of the session today, um, we'll find together a number of benefits and be able to also talk about some of the not so good parts of AI that we need to improve as the users. So just as I'm getting started, I'll load up the PowerPoint. For anyone who's not familiar with the Zoom, there's a React button at the bottom of your screen. Because we can't meet in person, I would like to ask people to use it as much as possible when I'm giving the presentations. I will take breaks maybe every 15 minutes or so and see if there's a point that needs to be clarified. Perhaps people have sent something in the chat, you didn't hear me, or you even might disagree, which is great because we're having a conversation. Normally, I do these presentations in purpose. We're in person where we take 2 hours, we break bread, we have potlucks, people can discuss their fears, we can sort things out. I can't do that online, so I encourage you to give me feedback however you can so that I can make this presentation the best that it can be for all of you. So let me get started, which means if I'm going to be reading on screen, I guess I'd better do this well. So again, this is AI Curious to AI Confident, and this is about you taking your power back. The AI hype that comes out of the United States and the tech bros and all of that kind of stuff, it's all marketing hype. And we in the nonprofit sector are people who know how to advocate on behalf of our clients, on ourselves, for the policies and changes that need to happen. This hype causes us to lose power, to think we can't fight or push back, that we are not in control of this software. It's not the case. And so I really am hoping that by the end of the presentation, you feel more able to use AI in ways that will be suitable and beneficial for your clients and your organization. Um, as Sydney mentioned, I'm a responsible AI practitioner. And I'm going to show you what responsible AI principles are, how we use them. It shares the same principles as most nonprofits, things you already do, the behaviors and the beliefs that you have within your organization. But because it's AI, people are not comfortable with it. So this will be the start of hopefully people feeling more confident in their future and AI. This is me. I am the founder of Thornbury Communications. I stand by this motto, which is by AI now. Make AI a fight about unaccountable power, not progress. So here's the agenda. This is going to be focused on social justice. I believe that AI
Tina,
can
I'm
help us.
sorry to
Yep,
interrupt. Are you showing, because I'm not seeing anything.
it's not changing in the screen.
Actually, I
No.
don't see anything at all. I made you a
Oh,
co-host, so you should be able to
you
share.
did. Okay, hold on. Sorry,
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just,
Okay,
sorry for
you
interrupting. It
share.
sounded like you were
Yeah, I've been
sharing
changing
something.
screens. So,
Okay.
okay. Um, can people
Okay.
see this?
Something's coming. It says you start, okay, yeah. And I see your PowerPoint program.
Great. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone.
No,
There's
that's okay.
blathering on. So
Oh,
really
it's
quick,
okay.
this was
You
first
might
page.
want to start sharing though, because it's still the program.
Yeah,
Okay.
it says I am screen sharing. Are you not seeing that?
But start your presentation, like
Yeah.
where we can see your PowerPoint program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So um, this is the second page about me that I was mentioning about Thornbury Communications. Um, and
Oh,
uh,
I'm really sorry, Tina, but
it's not
we
working.
see the first slide. So if you hit play from start.
This has happened before when I was doing the same presentation. I'm not sure why. What page are you seeing right now, Sydney?
I believe the first one,
Okay.
AI curious to AI confident.
What can you see now?
The same screen. Yeah.
Okay, this happened
Sometimes
before.
if you unshare and then
Yeah,
share
I
again when
am.
it's in the slideshow.
Yeah,
Try
I'm gonna
again.
try one more time. Sorry about that,
Oh, it's
everybody.
okay. We'll figure it
Thanks
out.
for the patience.
We're not in a panic.
Okay, here we go
We can do it.
again. All right, how about this? What page are you seeing?
Yes. Well, it's
Yay,
one that
good,
says introduction.
great.
Woohoo.
And you guys have heard my introduction over and over.
There we go.
So let's get on to the meat of this. So this is
Sure.
the real agenda, and I'm going to have to hurry myself up a little bit. So I was speaking about AI being used for social justice, and it can only uh, work if we use it, if we understand it, if we know how to make it do the things that we need for ourselves and our clients. So the agenda will be about ethics, safety, and conduct, bias and addressing the environment, and sector-specific AI. And I'll pause at the end of each section so we can take the temperature of the room, so to speak, before heading off into more material. So as I was saying, these are the 6 principles of responsible AI: accountability, inclusiveness, reliability and safety, fairness, transparency, privacy, and security. Some people collapse them into 5 principles by putting privacy and security with safety. Um, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about 5 or 6, we enact them all the same way. I think that when you look at this list, is there anyone who disagrees with these or perhaps finds them uh, unusual or not something that you practice with your clients or yourselves? Because the thing that drew me to responsible AI is the fact that they're so consistent with my work as a nonprofit worker. I've been in the sector for more than 20 years. They align completely with how I conducted myself and the ways that I see most other nonprofit workers conduct themselves in their organizations and with their clients. And so I was very attracted to learning responsible AI and using it in my work. And I have to tell you, responsible AI has been around for more than 10 years. It is not new. It is a subset of all artificial intelligence. It's been studied. It has a tremendous number of leaders and history to it. And so I really encourage people to draw some strength that there are people working in AI who care about human beings, not just profit. So these are some of the responsible AI trailblazers. I'll read you just quickly a little bit about them. Kathy O'Neill, she's a mathematician, and quite a few years ago now, she wrote a book called Weapons of Math Destruction. I just love that title. And it was about how math and algorithms were being used against people. Shoshana Zuboff, she is a professor. She does research, tremendous amount of research for, oh boy, going back maybe 2012, 2014. And she's one of the people who coins terms like surveillance capitalism, which is what Facebook and Instagram and most of our social media does when they take our data and they sell it. They're watching us, they're tagging us, they're collecting that data, and then they're using it for their profit. And she coined that term surveillance capitalism. Joy Buolamwini, Dr. Joy, as she's known, she's originally Canadian born, but she moved to the States as a kid. She was the first person to discover that facial recognition did not accurately depict the faces of people who have black and brown skin. And all of the things that we now know about problems from facial recognition, Dr. Joy has been one of the people who's been able to bring it to the forefront and also help people fight back about the wrongs that occur from people using AI in terms of crime and government and things like that. Nida Farahani. So she's also a very interesting person. She studies and publishes about the ramification of new technology on science and law. And she does work where she marries bioethics and tech ethic training to teach people how to use technology, particularly around AI, for the benefits of humanity. Riman Chowdhury, also amazing woman. She's the founder of Humane Intelligence, and she created assessment tools so you could input into an algorithm like AI something about race or gender and see if it influenced the output. And we all know it does because that's what bias is. So when you look at these women who are the trailblazers, they're the leader of responsible AI. And, perhaps people are wondering, why them? Why are they leading this field? And I have to say, when you know their work and you recognize these women, they are diverse, they're women of color, women of different orientations, different faiths. And the reason that they are responsible AI trailblazers is because they and we are the most affected by bad uses of AI. And so they took it upon themselves and they dedicated their careers to finding those errors, to looking at it a different way, to help train people to be aware of the problems with AI and the better uses of AI. And so hopefully today I'll be able to provide some of those for you as well. So social justice needs good decision making. And I'll read this quote by Cassie Kozyrkov. AI doesn't have judgment or values or accountability. So you have to expect errors and plan for them. That's the best way to use it. Keep responsibility where it belongs, with humans. When we make the decisions, we are responsible. We understand the process. And if there's a negative impact, we need to address that. We cannot leave this to technology. AI will mirror your input, not replace your judgment. Bad stuff in, bad stuff out. If you decide to let that go, that's on you. It shouldn't be utilized that way. So adopting a responsible AI mindset. So many people speak to me about how could I prompt better? Give me examples of tools. What should I use in this instance? But AI isn't about mastering prompts. I know that marketing hype I've told you about, that's been all on us for 2 years now about how to make the better prompt so your work will improve and all of that kind of stuff. But it's actually having a mindset of critical thinking, ethical responsibility, and inclusive behaviors. When brought into the data sets, into the utilization of AI, then we are working responsibly. And I believe this is the place to do it. And so this is a reminder of those principles that I was talking about earlier: fairness, inclusivity, transparency, privacy, security, reliability. These are things that we do for ourselves and our clients when we're using AI, and then we can become more comfortable with this technology that can help us and can support us now and in the future. And this is a quote from Lauren Irving. If any of you are interested, she is a trainer with Women Defining AI. It's a group out of the States that are really fabulous. It costs $10 a month to be a member, but then they have free training. And I have to say, they are excellent, excellent. So Lauren says it's an important step to ensure we're not just rolling out AI without guardrails. In a vacuum of uninformed decisions, taking the responsibility of ensuring that your AI-enabled team is using AI ethically is a critical part of leadership at every level. You're hearing me repeat myself on this, but when we use it ethically, when we are being responsible, then this technology can benefit us and our clients. And this is the road to social justice for us. So I want to introduce the simpler forms of taking care of using AI. Again, all the hype says it's so complicated. You have to do this, that. You need trainers. You need all kinds of staff to take over your AI usage. No, this is the simplest framework, and I think it's accessible and very understandable when you look at it. Delegation, what to hand off to AI and what to keep human. Decisions, human. Replying to marketing emails that you say, don't market me, let AI do that, right? Don't spend your time on any more of that stuff. Description, clearly communicate what you want. When you're using the AI, and there's many types of programs, there's probably most of us have access to the generative AI, Gen AI, like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini. But the majority of AI used in the world is actually predictive analytical AI, and it's the stuff we don't see and we don't interact with directly. So in a personal situation, you would see this as Netflix makes suggestions for movies for you to watch, or Spotify suggests music. Even on your phone, your autocorrect, it's a frequency. AI looks for a pattern and then it presents a result. So the majority of that AI we don't have any access to. This, in this framework, is what we can control and what we do. So after delegation and description, we have discernment. How do we evaluate critically what we're doing, what that result is? What are we looking for? And then the last one is diligence. How to use AI responsibly and transparently. I think that most of you as social workers have been trained in how to communicate difficult information to your clients, but you know that you have to. You can't hide things from them, right? That was a past. We don't do those things now. Working with AI, you want to be using the tools in the exact same way, responsibly, transparently, but with that critical mindset. Is this helping? Is this the tool that I need for this problem? Is there a risk? to using this AI and the impact on my client. Make decisions in all of those situations. So here's again, the trio, what I call the simplest form of using AI responsibly. The first thing, of course, is you want to ensure that you have diverse representation on your teams. People of different languages, cultures, perspectives, religions, they will respond to technology from their own experience, good and bad. And we need to take all of that knowledge from everyone, put it together when we are working with this technology. So after you have your team, you can have clear guidelines. You'll have policies, you will have training, the proper intake of information, the proper holding of it, the disposal of it, clear guidelines. Robust testing and validation. When you're going to introduce using AI in one of your systems, you just don't let it go. You test. What is it doing? How much energy is it using? How many people are impacted? Validating the results. I recently saw, I'm sure you've all heard in the business world, that a lot of businesses are not being effective with their AI usage at all. And it's because leaders, they're not starting from a good place of wanting to improve the work for their workers. No, they're trying to make more profit and get rid of people. So they actually are having experiences now, and it's very, very foolish. They're acting as if the AI that they're using is going to be 100% accurate. Hear me very clearly. That is not the case. It's not 100% accurate, and you have to check. But these business leaders are accepting the output of AI, and they're moving it up the chain in their business decisions. And at the top, they have people in the C-suites who are making huge operational decisions based on unverified numbers. It's ridiculous. I don't know how people can go about trusting a number that comes out of AI and making all kinds of decisions on that without verifying. You know, we know in the nonprofit sector, we verify so much, it actually is demoralizing at times how often we verify things with clients. But we're so practiced at it, looking during our evaluations. That same behavior is going to have to be applied with AI. So the other thing here, this last one, creating change for reporting and addressing concerns. You have to put in a system that says we evaluate the outcomes before we release this. And if things show up, there also has to be a way for your staff or your clients to tell you. This is a very uncomfortable truth that we're all going to have to work with. We must identify and address concerns ongoing. It's not a behavior that we are unused to. It's not a comfortable one, but we know we have to do it. And this is the same when using AI tools. So just before I get to dealing with bias and some of those other things, Sydney, is there any questions, clarification that I can do kind of quickly to move the presentation along?
Sure. I'm not seeing in the chat. On our board, there are people talking about, interested in learning about environmental impacts, ways to protect our children, indicators of risk were some of the comments that came up. Not that we're expecting you're going to cover everything, but just letting you know what people are thinking about. Yeah.
Keep those coming. Some
Okay.
I will be able to address in the presentation.
Okay. Yeah.
Some later when we have the chance for an informal chat with participants. And also, I think I heard you earlier, Sydney, saying that you were going to create a resource list. And I'll
Yes.
be able to add to that too. So,
Excellent. There was a question about your slide deck. You don't need to answer this now, but
okay,
if that's something that you share, so we can circle back to that. Or yeah,
okay, great.
thanks.
Okay, so moving on, I want to make sure we leave time for people to have discussions. All right, so dealing with bias, expect it, test for it, correct it. It's going to be there. Um, the understanding how AI was built, the information was collected from the internet, much of it stolen. Research studies stolen. People's opinions and work that they published, they never intended it for it to be under AI or the AI, the American corporations. Um, much of it is white, English, and American focused. All the data on the internet. Can you imagine all that data? And yet, what did they put into their training sets? It's unbelievable the amount of navel gazing that the corporations did. So we know if anybody has looked on the internet, and so much there is opinion, it's inaccurate. That's the data that it trained on. So if we went on the internet, we would expect bias. We would find it almost all the time. And that's the data that's been put into AI. Now, I know this would make people think, well, okay, I shouldn't use it at all, if it's bad like that. But I also have to emphasize on the other side of it, think of all of the content of the internet. Not all of it is inaccurate. Not all of it is biased. There just is a frequency, a preponderance to focus on American, English, and white culture. That's already what is overvalued in the world. And that's what a lot of the AI is built upon. So if you expect the bias, when it shows up, you see it. You see it. There it is. There it is. I wish that wasn't there. Okay, how are we going to manage that? How are we going to correct it? Let's test for it. Is it showing up anywhere else in what we're doing? And some places it's quite visual. People are trying to get one of the generative AIs to create an image. And when they do that, the majority of the image that's going to be returned is going to be, white, North American focused, etc. So when you know that that bias is going to show up because this is a frequency game, right? Ask for images of people outside or people indoors. They're going to do that. Then it becomes incumbent on us to train the AI and to be more specific. So it's not usual for us to uh, list someone's characteristics, ethnicity, um, culture, religion. We're trained socially to not do that. Unfortunately, with the AI, you have to specifically do it to direct the AI to the appropriate place to get the right information. And I really encourage people to do this because presently the AI systems have to be told, go look for diverse people, go look for different languages. And in that representation, because we have directed it, we will get more accurate information, less biased information. And that comes from us, our awareness of who we represent and what we want to do with the AI. And so we must direct it ourselves. And so this is, you create the systems that have the diverse input, your teams, your clients, your statistics. You ensure that staff and clients and management have all of these perspectives are represented in the tools. And honor and value each one. I had the great experience in 2020 of had a tech for good social enterprise, and I had a very diverse small staff. And because of this last piece, honor and value each one, we were able to create unbiased software. And then it was tested later and proven to be unbiased. And when people were coding, we were talking with almost every line of code. How does this impact people of a different language? How does this impact different culture? How is this received, interpreted, understood by genders and ages, etc.? And there's enough diversity on the small team that when we identified the bias, we decided that was error and we took it out. Lines and lines and lines of code. That was the promise we made to each other, and that we succeeded because of honoring and valuing everyone's input on the team. You will need to do this in your organization too. So let's move on a bit to the environment, because that concerns all of us, right? I am an environmentalist, have been one since I was a kid. And so I looked at AI and these ridiculous data setters, and again, as expressions of just the greed, the narrow-mindedness of these corporations, that they could destroy the environment so they could have more, get more, have more money from their AI is unbelievable. So I divide this into two things: what you can do and what others can do, what they are doing. So think before using AI. This is generative AI I'm talking about mostly. What's the best way to prompt for something? Think ahead of time, that critical thinking piece. Don't just put in a vague question, right? And people, have done it for the last couple of years when they had access. What's the best color for a car? Don't ask AI to do that. It's going to use all kinds of energy to produce an answer that's not going to satisfy you anyway. So you're thinking, what is it that you need? What does that answer satisfy? Is it a real problem that needs to be solved? If it's just fun, then, use a Google search or don't do it. That's your responsibility in regards to environment and AI. If it's just a single answer, you don't need artificial intelligence to source the entire internet for a frequency response for a question, for an answer that is known. Just Google that or talk to a friend or something. Don't use it for that. There are models that use less energy. Okay, so you might not like them, but DeepSeek is one of those. Mistral is a French model. Both of those, the design of the models use far less energy than ChatGPT or Gemini. They work the same, but it's the way that the models are configured. And there's even a company in Spain right now, and they've just opened an office in Toronto. They use quantum computing, and they can now shrink almost every AI model to reduce energy usage. It's fantastic, and I really applaud their efforts. And lastly, I'm just reminding people, don't use AI to make a Barbie doll for you or, check what the internet thinks you are. Those are silly uses up energy. You don't need to do those. That's not what AI is for. So what others can do? So a lot of companies are creating alternative energy supports for AI, and I really encourage people to support those. There's one in the north, and it's called, it's pronounced Nagli, but it's pronounced Nagli, but it's spelled Nadli, Nadlii. And they're a First Nations company who are approaching data centers. Oh, they're so smart. I admire them. So what they're using is they're doing cold climate infrastructure using the north climate to put small data centers across various First Nations lands. And in that way, the cold climate reduces the energy needed for cooling, etc., by about 20%. That's huge. And they're just at the beginning of things. And making smaller data centers and dispersing them across wider territory also is less energy intensive. And of course, then there's going to be economic benefits for the bands. It's a fantastic way to address the energy problem with AI. There's also corporations. Again, you can just rely on these guys and their greed, right? They are working on reducing energy costs because they want to save the money. They don't want to save the planet. We want them to save the planet. But okay, I'm still going to say, good, go guys, because when they use less energy, that's better for everybody. If their motivation is just greed and saving money, fine, because my motivation is save the planet. So, coming from, very opposite points, but arriving in the same place. Also, in Canada, we have a lot of government regulations on data center development. We have more data centers in Canada than you realize. I think we're at 32 right now. And those regulations stay in place. So the horrible stuff we see in the United States, Elon Musk throwing things, huge data centers down in Tennessee, whatever, disrupting the water table, impacting the local citizens, taking, eating up all the energy. Okay, that's not how it gets done here. So we have a better system, and they're trying to improve it all the time. We are looking at alternative energy supports come online, and I really encourage all of us to use those. And then we shift back into the personal. What are the best ways to use AI to have the least impact on the environment, but use the tool wisely? It is a tool. I probably haven't said this enough. A tool is used best when the person knows how. A hammer can be misused. When just you look at it sitting on the table, it's just a hammer. You don't think it could be a violent thing. But I have worked in women, violence against women and women's services. I can't claim that the hammer is the problem, but we all know there's a wrong way to use it. And this is true with AI as well. So before I move on to the big show, the sector-specific AI, I want to check again, Sydney, are there some things that I need to clear up before going on?
Well, there's lots of awesome discussion, and people were really intrigued by the Indigenous company that you mentioned,
Mm.
NADI, and people have already found a link to it and put it in our resources. Does anybody have a question for Tina at this point? Feel free to um, unmute or pop it in the chat. Well, I'm sure we'll have another chance later, but
Mhm.
okay. Okay, I
Well,
think we're good.
okay, that's great. So now sector-specific AI, and I really want to bring this to you because the people who have developed this AI, it's not Gen AI, right? This is AI that you would bring inside your organization to solve a particular problem, built by nonprofit professionals, people who've taken all their expertise and then used this technology to create a tool to benefit you. So I'm going to quickly go over Grant Orban Console because Transform has a video. It's about 8 minutes long. I know we're kind of coming towards the end of things, but it's excellent. You won't want to miss it. So really quickly, Sydney, tell me if this opens up, if you can see
Okay, I'm
Grant
here.
Orb. Can you see Grant Orb?
I see your slide.
Ah, my side. Okay.
Yeah.
This part's not working. All right. I'm sorry, folks. We'll have to just go back to where I was.
I think you need
Okay.
to, you're trying to share a video?
It's Grant was just a link to their site, and I was hoping it would link out again. It's okay. You can
Okay,
see it here. We'll put it on the resource list. So really
sure.
quickly, GrantOrb is fantastic AI grant writing software. And Deepa Chowdhury, she's in BC, in Vancouver. She was a fundraiser, yeah, for a lot of years, international fundraise, millions. And so she took that expertise, her AI, she put it together with grant writing. I have not written a grant without GrantOrb. I've not written a grant in 2 years now. With GrantOrb, the way that she does it now is you can either put in what the funder request is, or you can put in an idea you have for a project. It will give you a first draft in 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes, including a budget. And then you spend the next hour or couple of hours correcting it, extending it, delineating it, making it sure that it fits. If you know the funder better for some particular reason, you have a relationship, particularly it does something, then you edit it, send it to management or board for approval, off it goes. I used to spend weeks on grants, lots of meetings, talking to. I remember being the director of grants at International Operations for Canadian Red Cross. We had a grant to do for global affairs, and 25 people came to the meeting that we were going to write this grant together. No, those days are done. GrantOrb, it will change everything, give you so much time back for yourself. Now, Console, the Console app is excellent because it's about caregivers. And who's the majority of caregivers? Well, those of us who are already taking care in the nonprofit sector. So Cindy Jogo created this app. It's outstanding for managing what she says the mental load of caregiving, not the physical, the caring. It's still there. This is all the mental load of caregiving. Um, and oh, okay. Yvette, I think she's raised your hand. Before I go on to showing you the video of Transform, go ahead. Oh, I can't hear you. Can you unmute?
Sorry, I thought I did.
Yeah.
If everybody is using Grant Orb, then a lot of what I see is a huge competition for a limited number of foundations and grants and funds that many charities in the sector are all competing toward. And if we're all using Grant Orb and we're all using the same data and environmental scan, how would the end user, they may
Mhm.
use an AI to score to be able to like I'm just trying to figure out how what's the negative impact. And I'm even thinking of like a lot of non-for-profits who get free software. I'm just thinking through TechSoup, we had free
Mhm.
Microsoft Office. They offered, the Copilot AI, and then all of a sudden the free trial is over and you're on the hook for per staff in order to sort of include without really understanding the cost and the impacts in order to sort of continue on with these because there's
Mhm.
no more added dollars. So we're all supposed to do these things that are supposed to help make things easier, but then the costs now are kind of pricing us out
Mm.
to be able to use that.
Yeah.
Because there are
Well,
no operational dollars in a lot of times in these foundational grants. It's considered administrative overhead. So
yeah.
how do we, if everybody's going that way, or just the big fish that can afford it are going at, how does that make smaller charities that are community based that are doing the work for the last 30 years maybe priced out of the new sector, AI driven sector.
Yeah.
I'm just trying
Um,
to figure out how.
I'll answer you briefly because it's a really good conversation. We could talk for a very long time, but I don't want to take up all the time. But I really appreciate the question because it sounds nonsensical, right? Uh, Nonprofit use the grant writing software. Foundations, the government, the funders use AI software to review the applications. It's like, is anybody real in this whole thing? Uh, um, so the thing about it is that Grant Orb is a time reduction tool. It's you doing the work, smaller amount of time put to it. So everyone knows that a first draft of a grant is the thing that takes the longest amount of time. Editing it and then showing it to get approvals is a really short period of time. So the AI helps to reduce the workload. And when that occurs, to speak to your question about pricing, if you're not spending all your time on that sort of administrative stuff, you have more time now. Mostly it's fundraisers and EDs that are doing the grant writing, but small orgs can be everybody. You have more time to do the other things. And so you have to see that there's an exchange now. And we don't do this in the nonprofit very often. Our currency is time, not money. But have to change our understanding of this. Every hour that we spend trying to write a grant that grows into hours and hours and weeks has a cost. And we don't list that cost. We don't understand it because it's not being written down or collected or even noticed. We're just working hard in our lives, right? Um, but what happens is when you analyze it like that, then you recognize that the payment for something like Grant Orb, I think the price is, I think the smallest tier is $500 for 10 grants, $50 a grant. Yeah, that's the cost. Um, I don't think very many organizations, when they list out the actual time of their staff to write a grant, can get it down to $50. Actually, I know you can't. It's costing you far, far more. And if you actually have like a fundraiser who's using this tool, they then have more time to raise funds, to connect
Yeah,
with donors.
and if it has parameters, because I know one of the pain points that I found is every grant or foundation uses a different platform, right? And they
Yes,
all have, this one only gives you 20 characters. Another
yes,
one will give you three
ridiculous. Yes,
paragraphs, right? So I can see utilizing AI in that way, summarize in 20 words or something like that, where it could help you fit the boxes,
yeah,
right? I find that sometimes is the time suck. So I see the
it is.
value. I'm just seeing that more and more charities, we hear what I feel, it feels like Sudoku, like we're all applying for the same thing. And it
Yes,
seems like you get a chance this time. Don't come back for 3 years because that's when it'll roll around back to you. And so
yeah,
I think that that's what it feels like, a game of whack-a-mole in the non-for-profit sector, right? I've already hit that one 3 times.
that's right.
Ignore that and I'll go get another three. Like it's crazy making
It
because
is.
nobody funds any initiative in its entirety. It all requires 5 or 6 other little pieces of grants to do it. And I see that as the future. Last
Yes,
20 years is getting worse, not better.
yes, I
And
agree.
so I'm just trying to figure out how, if everyone is using AI, where's the information that's going to come out, the paragraphs, the, community impact, it's all going to look the same, and trying to sort of hierarch, not like,
Yeah,
and kind of have a criteria of who gets it and who doesn't. I
that,
see that
yep,
if your
yeah,
smaller grassroots people that are in touch with the community, that's where I see that AI bias. And I don't know if there are things that you can feed into AI, always putting like girls and strong and adventurous and whatever, so that whenever we're thinking about female feministic mindset, it's powerful, right? It's not
yes,
men, boys that conquer, right? It's
yes,
all, it's like, are there ways that we in the
yes,
non-for-profit sector can feed things into AI to impact that algorithm? I'll do that all
yeah,
day long. just for fun, right?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely. And I want you to. And I'm hoping that people, are curious now to see, oh, can I do that? Can I impact that? Can I change that and get a better response? Yes. The answer is yes. And your grant writing is the place to do it. You're right. AI is the leveler. It'll bring everything down to here. Your job is to have your expertise and your clients and your mission better represented by the output from the tool. That will be the work of grant writers. You can't get rid of them. You know, uh, the grant writing then is just administrative. The strategy, the smarts, the representation, you still need people making the decisions and using the AI in that way. Always, hands down. Don't get rid of your fundraisers. They know how to do this. So, Sydney, I think we don't have enough time now. The transform video is
Okay.
8 minutes by itself. So
Sure.
I want to tell people as we come to these last few minutes,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
really want to stress that you look at this tool by Islamic Family Association. It is so fabulous. They
Okay.
begin by charting the journey of a client. It almost brings to tears. We've all
Mm,
had this experience where uh, we're so demoralized, the frontline
mhm,
workers, right?
mhm,
That we can't help. We know we should. We're asking the same questions over and over again. A woman has come, she's brought her kids, she's come on the bus, and we're going to ask her a million questions and turn her away anyhow. It's awful. Transform is AI that supports your frontline workers. And they've had such phenomenal results. Uh, it's staggering to me that, something like um, staff's job satisfaction went up 80%. Unbelievable. And they become so much more efficient at communicating with their clients because the AI can translate information. So you can send a text you write in English to your clients, various clients, and it will translate for each of that person's um, language. So you don't have to try to figure out the best way to do it, contacting them. The fact that you don't have someone in the office that day who can speak a language that you can't, all of that can be done, but your work to communicate still happens. It's
mhm.
fabulous. Please, please watch the video of it in the resources list. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So I am winding this up. I had hoped we'd have more time to talk about good AI and bad AI.
Right.
I really want people to focus. Bad AI replaces humans. Bad AI operates and it can't explain the decisions. You don't know what's happening. Bad AI. Fast and loose with data privacy. It's our job to protect the data of our clients now. We've been given that job.
Mhm.
We have to do it. Perpetuates and amplifies biases. Yeah, it does. It can do that. It's our job to correct it. And prioritize profit over people and ethics, hands down. This is the worst aspect of AI, but it is corporate America, not the tool. It's people using it badly. And that doesn't have to be us. So this is me. If people want to get in touch, Tina Crouse, Thornberry Communications, thornbigcom at gmail.com. And in the future, I'll be doing a 4-step AI strategy framework that will help people strategic planning with the technology tools to support it to, help your mission. So thanks very much for letting me have the time with you.
Thank you, Tina. Do you have time for a question or two?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to get off. I was worried about your
Okay.
schedule.
Oh no, we're good.
Oh, great, great.
First,
Okay.
before we get into questions, so this slide here, Tina mentioned another session, and we're really excited that she's coming back. for a webinar with our network coming up on, oh God, I had all that information right at my fingertips, March 24th
Yeah.
at 1:30. And I'll put the link to the registration link in the chat. And this is that uh, more about working around strategic planning, right? And that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. So we invite people to see if that would work for them. So does anybody have any questions for Tina? I have a couple that are on the board here, but I just wanted to open it up if anybody else had any questions for our speaker. Okay, I will share what that people have been asking about. There's one question here. Are there things we should tell the parents we work with to look for in order to protect their children? Does any
Um,
come to mind with that?
so this,
What's
absolutely.
up?
Um, but I'm wondering more if, as the person who's supporting the family, uh, would you feel comfortable, or would your organization feel comfortable putting a workshop together to help parents in dealing with this? Because the biggest risk about AI and our children is that it's hidden and we don't find out about it. Do you
Right.
people remember a few years ago when technology came out that was specific to kids programs or something like that, and they found that pedophiles were interacting through the children through the programs by impersonating characters or posing as a friend, and parents didn't know. They never thought about it at all. I wouldn't have thought about it. I've
Mm.
raised four children. It wouldn't occur to me that if they were doing something online, that there would be somebody, a bad person there trying to, connect with them. It would take more than just a short conversation or a statement with parents. You'd have to do some of the training. It's not just about AI, it's
Mhm.
about a lot of other technology too. The biggest
Mhm.
thing that I say is that um, if children are left alone with screens, that is what puts them at risk. So if the parent can be in the room, I am not suggesting that you don't let them use computers. That would be a crazy statement. But if you're in the room and have a conversation with them, what are they doing? What's the program? How did they like it? What's happening? Just small, small things, right? The kind of parent behaviors that we already know how to do. Now we're just going to consciously apply them to our children working with technology. The biggest problem, of course, and the most fearful thing is what happens when you discover it.
Mhm.
And that is the whole thing about having a workshop. You can't just ally the fears with one little statement. It's bigger than that.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I see we are at our time. I want to just, yes, offer so much gratitude to you, Tina, for coming. This has been a recurring request to us as a network to start, offering learning opportunities. And thank you for kicking us off. I'm sure we will do more, and certainly with your session on the 24th. Before we let you go, I do have a quiz question that I'm going to put in the chat for our Zone Cup. So this was from a little bit in the earlier part of your presentation. You mentioned that AI will mirror your input, not replace your blank. And so the first person who gets that right gets a point for their zone. Uh, Close.
Great.
I'm seeing bias thoughts. They're close, but they're not quite the word that Tina used. They won't replace you, and they're correct too.
That's right. I
It
have to give
starts
him
with
a
a J. It
yay.
starts
Yeah.
with a
I was gonna
J.
suggest that. Yeah.
Starts with a. There we go.
Yeah. Great.
Samantha. Oh no, yeah, Samantha Andres
Oh,
got it
terrific.
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
judgment. It won't
Um,
It
replace your
was
judgment.
Michael. Michael said before Samantha. No?
oh,
Or in the chat.
Oh, sometimes they show up differently. Sorry, on mine it was Samantha. Oh no, you're right,
it's okay.
Michael. So both Michael and Samantha get a point. If you put your zones in the chat, Michael and Samantha, I'll give your zones a point.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sydney, because I know we have to
No,
cut off. I just want to say to
yeah,
people, this is my email. If you have felt like I've talked over your head or you uh, can't grasp about using responsible AI in your organization, please write to me. It is something I am so passionate about. Responsible AI is the way forward for us. I would like to help as many people in the sector understand that as possible.
excellent. Thank you. And please, if you're interested in diving a little bit deeper into more of the administrative, like strategic planning, please join us on March 24th. And with that, I thank you and thanks everybody. And I'll end the recording.